Good morning from Terminal 3 of the Chicago O'Hare Airport. Today is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. Earlier today I was in Cleveland Hopkins Airport, and Chicago is my brief layover. My plane to Utah is going to be boarding in about a half hour, but I have enough time to kind of reminisce about the movie Home Alone and the couple of scenes that were in this airport. So hopefully I'm going to show that as well as the holiday flair. So just panning to my right here first to show off more of the Christmas related things, and hopefully the setup that I have will work nicely because I grabbed a couple of screenshots from the airport scene in Home Alone and hoping to kind of show a comparison. So if you have viewed that movie year after year, just the ceiling alone in this airport should kind of look very familiar. This is where the H gates and the K gates would be. The H gates are on the right side and the K gates are on the left side. So in particular, Home Alone, they show them rushing through the airport, but in particular Home Alone 2 is where you see some more of the imagery. So let me try to turn around in a spot that's not so busy, like right here. So we're standing right here. Now let me grab my media from Home Alone 2. So if I'm understanding things correctly, I believe this shot from Home Alone 2 when they're first rushing into the airport, you would have passed TSA already, and that should be the thing that we're looking at behind us. So let me drag that up and down again. And then another thing I wanted to show is here's Kevin when he's trying to put the batteries in his what do you call that? It's the thing that records on his cassette tape. I used to know the name of it because we actually had one at home. Yeah, thank you, Wayne. Glad to make it to Chicago. Okay, it was a pretty quick flight. I think it was 45, 50 minutes only. It seemed like we were just in the air and then we were landing right away. And you can see at the top of this thing how they have the same decorations, like the garland and then that big globe. See the globe that's above Kevin's head? I'm going to turn and show that should be that same globe that's right there. I've only been to the Chicago airport once for a layover, and that was a while ago, and it was also a short layover, but I don't think it was in this terminal. I was on a United flight. Actually, a story from that day is I tried to record footage, but somehow the footage ended up getting, I don't know, it didn't save correctly. So I never had any footage from Chicago, so that's why I was glad to have a layover today in Chicago. And then as I'm walking this way, again, I'm keep on referencing Home Alone. You remember that in Home Alone 2, Kevin got confused because his dad is wearing that tan colored jacket, but by the time he catches up, he sees the back of this other guy who's wearing a tan colored jacket. So that probably happened somewhere around here. Yeah, so I imagine it was probably like right around there or something. And then kind of the next scene that you see is this one here. And this is kind of the crossroads where Kevin and Kevin's family goes to the right toward all the H gates, and then the guy who he thinks is his dad, but it's really not, goes left toward the K gates. And in this picture you can see Kevin going left toward the K gates. And then ahead of them you can see like where it says American Airlines Service Center. Now the Service Center is no longer there, but again, keep this image in your head. And then the direction of going either left for K or right for H. And then see, I mean the signage has been updated, but this is that same crossroads. So go to the right, that would be H, but then Kevin ended up going to the left, which is the wrong way for his for his family. And then the American Airlines service desk is no longer there now. They just have a big LED or plasma board along with flight connection times. So let's go toward the K gates. Actually, I think my connection is going to be gate K1, which would have been, I think, where I passed up already, where I very first started this stream. In between the K and H gates, they have a nice area of shops and dining. You can see it's pretty populated. So I only have like 2 more images, but in this one here, this is the fake dad running toward the gate, and in the background there you can see K12. So K12 like would have been where he was coming from. So I don't know, he might have been actually going up to like K13. So we're going to try to find K12. Back in 2019, before I started PokoTraveler, my brother and I took a 1-week trip to New York City, and we tried to we were not resting very much. We were up on our feet, sightseeing as much as we could, and then included trying to find filming locations for certain things. The Home Alone was one of those things where we were looking at the Plaza Hotel, some of the scenes in Central Park. Of course, I'm saying Home Alone, but I mean Home Alone 2. Now see, we're not doing the jog like they were doing in Home Alone 2.
Attention passengers. For your public safety,
those guys were never on time, right?
Chicago O'Hare International Airport.
Wayne says, what a difference between Cleveland Hopkins and Chicago's airport. It's 2 different worlds, 1 hour away. Yes, indeed. And this is only Terminal 3. I didn't research ahead of time how many terminals there are in Chicago, but yep, it's a very much bigger airport. I don't know, years from now, whenever they redo Hopkins, I don't know how much they're going to expand it. I can't imagine it would ever get to the size of this. But it still works for all my travel purposes. Alright, K-12 is on the right, according to this. So let me try to think. There's the sign for K-12. Let me look back at that image. K-12. We see on the right side of that picture, you can see like the actual gate for K-12. So I think that means trying to think the trajectory of this. Yeah, I think this is right. So see where the picture is right now, K-12 sign. Sorry, sometimes it's tough to close these images. Yeah, so that's a pretty close replication of where we just were. So that means he was running toward, I don't know, one of these gates over here, maybe like down there. And then one last picture I have is of Kevin when he was trying to catch him. You can see again K-12 in the background. So Kevin would have been standing like right here as he's trying to catch the wrong dad before he bumps into the airline and all the tickets go flying, and they end up letting him on. Which of course they would never do today, but yeah, that's a fun little filming location, reminiscing. I wonder if any other films have done anything in the Chicago airport. That's just like, because Home Alone is one of those Christmas movies where it's like guaranteed I watch it once a year. So I've seen the thing probably like 25 times. Home Alone and Home Alone 2. I watch both of them. I'm the type of person where if it's a nostalgic movie like that, I pay attention to the imagery and the scenes and get curious, like, oh, where was that filmed? And that one, they always talked about the location too, like Chicago, as well as New York. So it's like actually a big part of the plot line, as opposed to some other places where they don't really mention the city because it's not too important. Alright, so I still have about 20 minutes until my connection comes. I'll probably try to continue this live stream for another 10 minutes, and then after that I'll get ready for my gate. Need to have a little bit of time to like put my equipment away and such. But if you're still watching this video, or if you're watching it at another time, feel free to hit the like button or give us a subscribe, or share your comments about the movie Home Alone and what you remember from it. And if you felt like, based on what I showed, could you match up where I was standing versus the screenshots from the movie itself? Well, I'm assuming that Terminal 3 is primarily a American Airlines terminal. I don't know if any other airlines are here, but that's the airline they used in Home Alone. I didn't even think of this idea until last night when I was about to, I was going to bed, and I was thinking I wanted to film a little bit of the Chicago airport. But then I was like, wait a minute, I wonder if I happen to be like going in the terminal where Home Alone was, and I Googled what terminal was Home Alone filmed in. And it said Terminal 3, and I was like getting so excited like a little kid. And once again, that's most of the imagery that I showed at the beginning of the live stream. And then the H gates would have been where Kevin's family screenshots, because I thought it would be a little redundant, and I couldn't make out what gate it was. But you can just imagine they ran probably just as long of a distance to get to their gate, only to forget Kevin for the second time in a row. Alright, and then that probably gives you the gist of it, because in my mind, splicing in some of those screenshots of Home Alone, so maybe I'll work on that and end here. But thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video again, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.